Hail to you. Welcome to Chuntcast. Grab your drinking horn and gather around the fire pit as we discuss comics, gaming, movies, and pop culture. Like and subscribe if you haven't already to become a member of the Chunt Call, Skal. By the might of Mjolnir. I am king of this realm, Uncle Chunt. I hope you're all being great ones to you and yours. This is episode 53 of the Chuntcast for 2024. This is the first one for the year. So this is great. I'm feeling good being back and able to get my mindset back into this, and I hope you've all been awesome. Hope you had a great New Year's. Hope you all had a bit of time off, a bit of time away, and just to recharge, relax, recycle. I don't know why I said that, but it's kind of pertinent. But look, we're going to just hook into today and take it chill. I will say thank you for your patience going through the intro there. This is something new that I'm doing here just to take the load off myself from saying everything at the start every time. And it just makes it a bit more condensed, a bit more focused, a bit more polished. And we can just jump into saying good day. So I appreciate that. I should say. Appreciate your patience. That's what I tried to say just before. And we'll hook right into it. Now, there's usually an Ask Chunt section that I like to do at the start of this. Now, for the start of the new year, I'd like to get some new questions in. So if you'd like to leave a comment below, if you're watching this video, or if you're listening to this later, just contact me or just hashtag at me on my socials. So just at Uncle Chunt, hashtag Ask Chunt, and I'll see that and I'll add it to my list, and we'll start adding that week to week. And that would be excellent. Cool. All right. So in place of the Ask Chunt this week, I want to just discuss a couple of silly things, and one quite silly thing I think later on the show, and a couple of interesting tidbits. So today we're going to discuss the Xbox toaster, Rebel Moon. Oh my God, I can barely talk. Rebel Moon review. As you know, well, those of you who know me, I'm a Zack Snyder fan. So we'll see what my thoughts are on this latest movie, and see if it's a win or not. The next after that will be the new Rey Star Wars film that everyone is excited for and that everybody's been wanting. Yep. And after that, we've got some Switch 2 discussion that we'll get into, Nintendo Switch 2 predictions or whatever it is. We'll see how that goes. So apparently it's coming out this year, but we'll talk about that later. So cool. All right, so hang tight. Get your ale or mead or whatever it is you choose to drink in your drinking horn, and we'll hook right into this. Yes. Excellent. That worked this time. It did not last time. Thank you, Transition Gods. All right. So here we are. The Xbox toaster. It's an actual thing. I thought it was a new meme to start the year off with. But no, this is legit, and it's for sale and you can buy it. So what you need to know, this is courtesy of windowscentral.com. The Xbox Series S toaster is available at Walmart. I have no idea if it's going to get sold here in Australia. The fridge, what was that? Some of my beard in my mouth. Too much information. So EB Games here in Australia, they sold the fridge, Xbox fridge, which I have next to me here. It's not a fridge, it's just a thermogenic cooler. Bit of false advertising there. So I'm a bit dubious about what this is. Will it actually toast? Or will it just slightly warm your bread? We'll see how it goes. It's an ode to the Xbox Series S console that imprints the Xbox logo on your toast. The toaster already has some 5-star reviews. All right, that's great. So I just wanted to add this at the start because I thought it was quite ridiculous, but I want one. So I'm fully aware that I'm part of the problem here. I know I'm the problem. This is who it's marketed to. Apparently there were sightings of this thing back in March last year. A French website had it up for sale. So the toaster itself, you can buy it now at Walmart and I think other retailers by now for about $40 American. Not bad actually. Toast 2 slices of bread, bagels or waffles and other delicious foods while imprinting them with an Xbox logo with 6 teraflops or shades of toast as this article says. And yes, it'll make a great kitchen companion for the Xbox Series X fridge, as we mentioned at the top of this. So thank you, Jennifer Young, who published this article a day ago, courtesy of windowscentral.com. I personally would not. I would not say I won't buy it. That's all I'll say. I'm not gonna lie. I'm quite interested in. I don't eat toast. I don't have toast. I don't have toast for breakfast. See, this is the problem, right? I don't do breakfast. I might look like I do, but I don't do breakfast. I usually just have a coffee and get on with my day, kind of fasting, whatever. I'm trying to do this new thing, health kick. And the thought of having toast for breakfast, it just doesn't interest me. And I'd probably have peanut butter. I like peanut butter on toast. I don't like Vegemite. That's very un-Australian of me to say so, but I don't like it. And I'm very picky. Maybe a ham and cheese toast. That's always good. You can't say no to that. Yeah. But look, if this is in the cards to be in my life, it will be, or it shall not. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is just a silly use of resources? I mean, this is obviously licensed. It's not something Xbox is putting out themselves. It's not like Xbox are entering the white goods market, selling furniture and kitchen goods and kitchenware and washing machines and whatnot. That's not what's happening here. But it's a bit of fun. I think it's great. I think it's good for people that want that novelty gift. It's kind of missed the Christmas opportunity there. I don't think, like, what happened there? How come this couldn't come out around Christmas? This would have been, if this came out around Christmas, I would have been like, straight to my wife, I would like this, please, for Christmas. Thank you very much, as a silly little novelty gift. And I promise I will use it. I will have bread. I will have my toast and I'll buy peanut butter just to use it. And I'll just move it back into my room here next to my fridge that doesn't really freeze things or keep things overly cool, but it is what it is. Actually, I do lie. The fridge, it's a disappointment because you can't, it's not a fridge, right? It doesn't, it only makes things chilled, or not even chilled, but like cool enough that it feels like, oh, it's on the verge of being chilled, and it's slave to the temperature around it. So the interior coolness is only as cold, equivalent to its ability compared to the room temperature around it. So it's a thermogenic cooler. So you only get things so cool. So if it's summer and it's, I don't know, 40 degrees or 38 degrees here in Australia, Celsius, it's going to struggle, right? And the instructions say not to leave it on running constantly for over 48 hours. It's not built for that, apparently. Well, that's in the instruction manual. Go figure, right? I don't understand that. Why would you? Anyway, I wonder how many people have ignored that and it's just died on them, or it's busted, or it's melted. I don't know what, but I use it sparingly. I've kind of, it's literally a luxury item, right? It's a privileged thing. Seriously. I kind of do this thing where if I come in here, I'm going to do some work, like on my own stuff, like do some drawing or some editing or whatever it is, graphic design or something like that. I'll purposely turn the fridge on in the morning and throw some, I don't know, it used to be Pepsi Max cans, but I'm on this health kick now, so I'm trying to find some healthier alternatives besides water. Like whether I get some bottles of water, and like I got here, I've been doing this water trick with just lemon extract, lemon juice to add to my water because to find it a bit more interesting, Like water's water. It's great. We'll be dead without it, but you can make it a bit more interesting and palatable when you're meant to do like 8 cups a day or 2 liters of water a day, whatever it is. Anyway, so I'm trying to do this health thing. So if I want to use my fridge, I need to find a healthy alternative. So if you know a healthier alternative, it's not just water, because that's the easy answer. Give me some legit options that are like cool, healthy, refreshing, quenching alternatives that can be in like a bottle size or a can size or something like that I can use so I can turn my fridge on and get creative over a weekend or an evening, whatever. Interesting to know what your thoughts are. I spent way too long speaking about this toaster. I want it. If you would like to donate one to me, I would be appreciative of that. That'd be awesome. Save me some money. But look, if I see it on sale, if it comes out in Australia, more than likely I'm going to buy it. Just saying. But if anyone wants to do me a solid, not going to say no. Cool. So we'll move on to the next topic. Rebel Moon, the review. I'm just going to discuss it. It's going to be no spoilers. And I was going to give you my overall thoughts of what the movie is, and we'll look at the Rotten Tomatoes score and see how we go. Right, let's see if this stinger works. Excellent. It does. Fantastic. Cool. All right, so let's head on over to Rotten Tomatoes and check this stuff out, right? Rebel Moon Part 1, A Child of Fire. 24% Rotten, 60% audience score. Right, okay, so my thoughts. Well, did I like the movie? Yes. My wife and I watched this the premiere night, like the night it came out. I was very excited. I said, look, we're turning off our mobiles. We're getting our dinner ready. Turning off the lights. I've been looking forward to this. The trailer looked awesome. I really thoroughly enjoyed the trailer and what I saw of the movie leading up to it, all the concept art and just the building off the hype of Zack Snyder's history. I've been a fan of every one of his films. I love Zack Snyder's work. He's a director that doesn't come around very often. Yes, he's very visual, but his choice of shots and his choice of how he composes his shots and even his choice of slow-mo. Like, a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people they kind of scoff at the slow-mo stuff, but I like it, man. I like the slow-mo that he chooses. Like, when it's not overdone, slow-mo can be great when it's not overdone. And the way Zack Snyder chooses to do it, it's always in a moment that you just want to bathe yourself a little bit more in, or just be like, oh, that's a cool moment, or just stuff that you get missed if it's just a general normal cinematic shot in any other movie, right? Like, even just down to the point where people are shooting at someone, like it's a close-up shot of this chick and she's shooting someone and it's in slow-mo and you get to see the exhaust coming out of the pistol and then the slug coming out and she's screaming and shit. It's epic stuff. Like, it's just living in that moment a little bit more. I really like that. It can be overdone, and a lot of other directors over time have done that. And it just doesn't suit the film. But the way Zack Snyder does it, I believe he uses it in a smart, sparing way, and when it just matters. So I don't really believe in that critique that some of the other critics or people out there are saying. So my wife and I have been listening and seeing a bunch of reviews after we saw it. I purposely muted anything mentioning Rebel Moon on my socials because I didn't want to hear anything about it. I knew that it was coming out. That's all I knew. I needed to know. I saw the trailer. I knew the release date. I knew who the cast was. I was like, all right, cool, mute. I just want to go in fresh. I'm glad I did. And then I went and just saw what other people thought. And just the typical players online and on YouTube and the critics, quote unquote, just clickbaiting for the sake of clickbaiting and saying it's bad for the sake that it's saying it's bad. And it's just to join that circle. That's that viewership, right? Which is unfortunate. Cool. Everybody's got their opinion. I'm not saying that, right? I'm not saying that you can't not like it. Awesome. Happy for you, mate. Like, I loved it. So we've all got something to enjoy. Like, you can move on and I'll sit here waiting for the next one. And there's a director's cut of this coming out as well. That's one critique I've got of Netflix, right? They let Zack Snyder go ham on this and build a new IP, build a new universe, a new franchise, right? And but they say, okay, Zach, you're going to need to put out a 2 hour and 15-minute version of this. When that doesn't really matter. When streaming is considered, you're not considering the fact that you need people to get in and out of seats at a cinema to get more sessions per day to earn more money. Like, that's no concern. So when I heard that there's a director's cut of this, a director's version of it, I was like, oh man, okay. And it's like 4 hours or something like that. I'm like, cool, sign me up, mate. But I wish I could have just enjoyed that one first, right? I wish I had the option. Yeah, anyway. I know that there's a discussion there like, well, you can't put both out at the same time because it'll confuse the audience. All right, fine. And you want to put out a more concise version for those who don't have attention spans longer than 30 seconds. Or you want to just, I don't know, make something more palatable for the common folk, so to speak. And those of us who enjoy a long burn movie when it's good, then the director's cut will come later. And I'll always default to a director's cut of a film over the other one, the theatrical, if you want to call it that, or the mainstream version. So sign me up for that. Apparently part 2 Rebel Moon Part 2 is coming out April 19th. So, I mean, this movie ends on quite the cliffhanger. My wife and I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. The cast, I loved the cast. I thought they were great. I think, like, if I had to be some negatives in here, some scenes that you weren't allowed to just get to know the cast a bit, right? You didn't get to know the characters as much as you probably would have liked. So in that aspect, I'm interested to see what differentiates the director's cut. Like, how much more is there? More character stuff, right? If there's more character stuff in his longer version, then that makes it worthwhile, right? But whereas if the director's cut is just going to be more exposition or explosions or, I don't know, action or whatever, background world building, like, okay, that's great. There's a lot of background world building in the cut that we got already, but we didn't get enough time to spend with the characters, right? And my other critique is that some of the sequences felt a bit short, or like they cut too quick, or you're just jumping from one planet to the other, picking up these people along the way, like this Magnificent Seven type aspect to this movie. And every one of those is like a mini vignette of, okay, this is a bit about that character, this is a bit about that character, this is a bit about that character. But every time you do that, they're quick friends, they're fast friends, and they join the party, right? Like an RPG game. Where you run into someone on a field or in a bar or something like that. You're like, oh, yes, I'll join your cause, yes. Don't know you, but cool, let's do it. So that's my other critique of it. I love the CG. I don't get the hate. I don't get the criticism on the CG. This is some of the best CG. Like, when you consider $300 million films or $200 million films that are out there lately, and they've got some absolute shocking CG. Flash, primarily in recent memory. Blue Beetle was another one that had great CG for such a significantly smaller budget than the Flash, and Justice League, I'll say that. And even some of the Marvel films, some of the CG and those have been pretty shocking considering the budgets. But that's all to do with time constraints on the VFX houses. I'm fully aware of that. But Zach, being a visual director and storyteller, I know that visual fidelity and quality is important to him, right? So there's some characters in this movie that you're just like, wow, that looks amazing. Like, I couldn't believe it. That was that prosthetic or not? It just looked real. It looked legit. And I'm talking in two instances specifically. There's the Anthony Hopkins robot, who I wish we saw more of, and I can't wait. I hope they build him out more in the sequel. And there's this alien creature on this planet where you get introduced to Ray Fisher's character. And I was like, wow, that CG is excellent. Oh, Jesus, that looks legit real. So and the other spacescapes or skyscapes, what do you want to call it, of space and the planetary stuff looked amazing. Like, I'm very fascinated by the world that they built here. I just wish we had a bit more time to know more about it, right? And that goes back to my thing about the director's cut. I hope we get that, right? The audience score here, I can see and understand why, and that I think might be fair at 60%. There are improvements in the film that I would like to see. Maybe like if being 2 hours and 15 minutes, right? If this was 2 hours and a half or 2 hours and 45, that might have given a bit more pacing to breathe in some of the sequences and the transitions between character introductions, and just have a bit more time with those people and individuals. But yeah, look, I mean, that's the problem. When you hire a director who's known for his extensive versions of films, and he's done this pretty much throughout the majority of his filmography, at least half of it at least, where he's just known for doing extensive cuts, and he shoots everything that he storyboards essentially, right? And so that's always interesting if we could see all of that come to life. So we'll see how the audience score is on the longer version. If I enjoyed this one, and my wife enjoyed this one as well, and we kind of we have different tastes in some instances, but we're even sitting here watching some of these reviews, asking like, is it us? Like, are we the problem here? Like, there's so many people that have voiced their opinion on not liking or not enjoying the film, and some have just gone overboard. As you know, YouTube's full of noisy critic film reviews, or people that are just trying to get the clickbait traffic. hating for hating's sake. So you don't know who's legit or not out there anymore. That's why I like to be a bit more real about it. And I don't have an issue saying with some things I don't like about a Zack Snyder film, even though I'm a big fan of his, right? But even we're sitting here going, it can't be just us, right? And most people that I've spoken to off YouTube or off socials enjoyed it, right? So the messaging is muddled there. I don't know what the take is on that side of the fence. I really don't. Like the critics score never really matters anything to me. The only part when it does matter to me is the potential of getting a follow-up or another one of something I liked, right? And if I see tanking reviews or tanking scores or just the hate online, and that's one part of it, right? But this has been quite successful, according to Netflix, that this has been a major hit for Netflix. I did read some articles, and I wish I brought them up here to view here, but I wasn't going to talk about it, but I am now. Where like week over week, it's gotten like millions and millions more views as it goes, and well above what Netflix considers a success or a hit, right? So that's promising and very telling. Where there was not a fall off after the first week, it was a considerable uptake in the next one, in the next week, right? So, oh man, hang on a sec. My visual's kind of frozen up on me here. Yeah, there we go. All right, we're back. Apologies for that. Looks like I'll need to turn down some of the video settings next time, according to a message that this software gave me. Anyway, but the audio is still going, which is great. I'll double check that in post before I upload to make sure it's all good. And if there's anything missing there, I'll just put up a disclaimer and have a hard cut. But anyway, long story short, I enjoyed the film. My wife enjoyed the film. I can't wait to see the second one. I'm fascinated by the world that they're building here and to know more about this franchise or this story or this IP. If they do a comic book, which I'm pretty sure I heard that they're doing one, I'll be interested to check that out. Zack Snyder went on stage at one of the Game Awards last year saying that they're working on a game for this franchise as well. If they do an anime, I mean, this would be ripe for an anime. Holy moly, that'd be an epic anime. Look, and I'm aware that this was rejected by Disney as Zack Snyder's pitch for a Star Wars type film. Obviously, it's not cookie cutter. Like, this isn't what from what I know, what I read, what I've heard of online, that this isn't the exact treatment, right? What he presented to Disney, and they said no. Considering what Disney is putting out for Star Wars, I think they probably should have done this anyway. They probably would have had a bit more success, or at least critical fan success. Anyway, that's a whole other topic we'll head into very shortly. Look, anyway, those are my general thoughts. I didn't want to spoil anything. Ray Fisher, I thought he was great in this. It's good to see him and Zack Snyder working together again post Justice League World. So that was great to see, just from my perspective, with everything that happened with that. But every other character and every other cast member in the character that they played, I thought they were cast quite well. I didn't see much of like anyone that stuck out as a weakness or a weak point. I think the villain started off really strong. There's a scene in the farm at the beginning of the movie, and it's quite tense. It's like, oh damn, this is awesome, right? And that whole farm sequence I really enjoyed. But I think towards the end it got a bit, let me just say, a bit Saturday cartoon, a bit with the ending fight of this movie. I enjoyed it. I just didn't quite buy the fight. This lady, let me just, I can never pronounce her name right. Let me just see if I can find her name on here so I can do it justice. Sophia Boutella, I think I'm saying that correctly. I really enjoyed her. I know she's getting a lot of criticism, but I thought she did great. I mean, they handled this really well, I think, of a strong woman character, because this is current year, right? I think they did this the right way, where she was just a badass, right? Just off as a character. It wasn't beaten down your throat. It wasn't, I'm the best because I'm a woman, anything like that. There was none of that kind of stuff shoved down your throat about it. It was just a character that's gone through some shit, gone through some hard stuff in life. That's just going on her own hero's journey, so to speak. And yeah, she beat up like 10 guys that are like 3 times her size. I get that, but you could put that down to her being a skilled combatant. And I'm not a fighter, so I don't know how that weighs up. I know there's weight classes for a reason, but I'm sure like I'm a big bloke, and I'm sure if some little dude came out to me who was skilled in combat, could kick 10 or 9 colors of shit out of me before I ever knew what was going on. But if I got a hand on them, there'd be trouble for them. But anyway, all that aside, I think how they handled this in the current climate that we've been in for the last 5 or 10 years, I think they handled that aspect really well. Like I personally, and I'm quite, I'm quite vocal, or at least I have my opinions on, and many others do, on how cinema and female characters have been portrayed in recent times in every form of media in the past 5+ years. And it's just eye rolling at this point, and we'll talk about that in the next topic, where I don't buy any of it. I'm not interested. It's just making every woman a man. It's just writing a male character and casting a man and asking us to buy it. Like, I don't buy that, right? Whereas this character, there's femininity in there, but she's a strong woman who's earned her badassery, right? And that's the thing. That's the difference, where you're not walking into this movie expecting to buy this because the script says so, right? You can see who she is in the movie and how it plays out, and she kicks ass. So if there's me, a bloke like me saying, yeah, this chick kicks ass, right? Then just take that, right? It should count for something. Because if this was any other type of movie like Disney does, where they're the best, and that's, you just need to buy it. They're the best because no reason, they just are. They're the expert at everything because they just happen to be, and that's the character that it is, and you need to accept it. It's like, no, I call bullshit on that. Complete bullshit on that. Anywho, Rebel Moon Part 1, Child of Fire, I should say. Really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see the next one. Zack Snyder, he's one of my favorite filmmakers out there today. Not just from a visual standpoint, but I enjoy what he does and what he puts out, and he takes the risks, right? He's one of the filmmakers today, and he's mates with Chris Nolan, mate. And Chris Nolan even says he rates him quite highly, right? Chris Nolan's half the reason why Zack Snyder got the Man of Steel gig, because he recommended him to Warner Brothers, right? Zack Snyder is a director that is putting out original content, original movies at a quality that most other directors aren't doing, and for established franchises, right? So just think about that for a second, where you've got countless Marvel movies out there and other like big franchise movies that are coming out just flopping hardcore, right? Because they're just cookie cutter stuff, right? It's cookie cutter Disney, cookie cutter Marvel, cookie cutter, like even Paramount suffering it a bit. But Zack Snyder comes out and tries to do something different, right? And this isn't turning into a Zack Snyder wankfest. I'm just trying to like paint my point here of why I enjoy his work. If you go back in his filmography, it's always different, right? He's always trying something different that isn't what the norm is, right? If you go back and watch Watchmen, that movie is ahead of its time, right? If Watchmen came out 5 years ago or today, I don't think it'd be as successful. But if it came out about 5 years later than it originally did, it would have been a massive hit, right? But it was ahead of its time, right? Sucker Punch, think of what you like of it. There's a lot in that movie if you're not aware of it, but there's a lot in that movie if you get into the layering of it. But then you get into Man of Steel, Batman and Superman, which I consider absolute masterpieces. And Zack Snyder's Justice League is a 4-hour, like, just epic movie that is unrivaled. I thoroughly love that, and it doesn't feel like 4 hours when you watch it. It just makes you it leaves you wanting in the best way possible, right? And that's what a good movie is meant to do. And it's a good movie used to be where you'd walk out of the cinema and still talking about it, right, with your friends. Not every answer is given to you on the screen, right? You're left wondering and thinking and pondering, well, what does that mean? Well, what was that? What happened here, right? And that's what's been happening in Zack's movies, right? He doesn't spoon feed you, right? Which is what a lot of movies do today. where they try and make it just so accessible that anyone can consume it. It's surface level crap, right? And there's a lot of studios are very risk adverse to doing anything different to give you meatier content, right? Something's a bit different that takes a risk. Anyway, I think Barbie and Oppenheimer have proven that audiences are ready for new shit and to not be felt like they're stupid walking into a movie anymore, right? So, and I'm not saying this is Schindler's List or anything. Far from it. Rebel Moon is not anywhere near that. It's it knows what it is, and that's what I like it for. But it still gives you stuff that you're talking about and wondering about, like that Anthony Hopkins robot. For argument's sake, it sets up this really interesting story and backstory for this thing, and then he goes, and you're just wondering, well, hang on a minute. I want to know more about this guy, right? And you just left wondering where, if this was a Marvel movie, and I keep picking on Marvel stuff, but if it was like that, it'd be like, hey, this is that character, blah, 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 spoon feed. You know everything about the character now. Bam, done. All right. He's your favorite now, right? He's your favorite. Tell us he's your favorite now. You know, that kind of stuff. I hate that shit. Anyway, moving on. We'll go on to the next topic. This is Star Wars. Oh, Star Wars. Let's do it. Cool. All right. Thank you for sticking with me here in this first episode for 2024. If my voice sounds like it's going, it's because it's really hot in this room right now, and I'm trying to keep myself running with some lemon extract water to keep going. Oh yes. Someone's beeping outside. Hopefully my noise gate or noise suppressor captured that, but I heard it through my headphones, so apologies. It's Friday night and it's party time. Cool. So let's do this. Star Wars. Oh boy, Star Wars fans say female-led next installment is destined to fail. Okay, so look, I'm ready to be surprised, right? I'm ready to go into this leaving the shit of the past behind and go, all right, just give me a good movie. Let's see what happens, right? But for those of you who have seen the sequel series of Star Wars, you know what we got and how garbage it is, right? So here we go. 2-time Oscar winner. This is courtesy of MSN. I think it's linking some other website. Written by, I'll just say, story by Stephen M. Lepore. For Daily Mail. Okay. I just want to give credit when I can because it's respectful, even if I'm going to crap all over this. 2-time Oscar winner Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, I can't say that 3 times fast, unfortunately, sorry, has declared it's about time a woman shaped a film for Star Wars. I think, what's her name? Patty Jenkins has something to say to you, mate, about the Rogue Squadron movie that she was meant to do that fizzled out after a big song and dance and a big video production about her love of her father and an airline or air fighter or something like that. Anyway, that fizzled out into nothing. The film is set after the most recent Star Wars sequel, 2019's Rise of Skywalker, an absolute dumpster fire, and will be centered on Daisy Ridley's character Rey, that no one cares about. No one. Like, not even the younger generation cares about her. The older generation just do not like her at all. So who's this character for? Who's going to turn up for this? I mean, it's Star Wars. People will, unfortunately. Anyway, many have unearthed comments made on a panel where she said her goal is to make men uncomfortable to show Disney remains committed to woke films. The concern here straight away is, if that is your angle on getting people hyped for your movie, I am already disinterested, right? Anytime this, and Disney, I don't know, the investors must be going, what the actual hell are you doing, Disney? Why is it that you make every movie about this woke messaging stuff, right? And I know everybody's got their opinion on it. So do I. That's why I'm talking about it. All right. I'm so sick of, I just want to hear about a good movie, right? And like I just said, I'm hearing this stuff already. I'm already rolling my eyes going, oh great, it's another one of these. I've tuned out of pretty much everything Disney's done since Endgame because this is the messaging that it is, right? Yeah, I just read about this one. It's about time a woman shaped a Star Wars film, as she's set to become the first woman and the first person of color to direct a feature film for the franchise. Who gives a shit, right? Like, I know that it's important for this representation, inclusivity and stuff like that, but I'll tell you what, people my age or younger, like the 6-year-old or 8-year-olds that you wanted to get into the movies and buy the toys for, right? They don't give a crap about the director being a woman and a person of color, right? Those people that are 40 years old or older who grew up literally with this franchise from the 70s, right? They don't give a crap. They just want a good Star Wars story, right? This is my point of, if this is your announcement, right? If this is what you put out, hey, we're doing a new Star Wars film and it's going to make men uncomfortable. Like, oh, okay, cool. Awesome. I can't wait as a man to be uncomfortable in this movie because it's a female director who's trying to, yeah, cool, awesome. So her quote here from this comment on a panel, obey Shinoy did with Meryl Streep and Jon Stewart, right, has provoked outrage over Disney prioritizing politics over good filmmaking, right? And that's kind of what I'm hinting at here. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable, all right? You need to say it twice. We got it. She said during a panel, which she participated in winning the Oscar for a documentary about acid attacks against Pakistani women, because that obviously means, hey, you know what? She should do Star Wars next. You know, like, it must be her, no one else, right? Yep, 100%. Let's go. You know, cash that check, right? And so Matt Walsh here at Mashwalt blog, he is a feminist director of the next Star Wars film, saying that her goal is to make me uncomfortable. This movie is destined to be Disney's biggest flop yet. Bigger than the Marvels. That'd be amazing to see. When do the investors step in and go, okay, Disney, enough is enough. We are sick of losing hundreds of millions of dollars on this messaging crap that nobody's buying, nobody's interested in anymore. They're tuning out of everything that you're doing because this is the message, right? I can't stand it. I'm honestly over it. It's important, she continues, it is important to be able to look in the eyes of a man and say, I am here, and recognize that. And recognize that I am working to bring something that makes you uncomfortable, and it should make you uncomfortable, she added. And, okay, so what? I mean, what are you trying to do here? I mean, why does it have to be just making a man uncomfortable, right? It's Star Wars. Why do you want to make us uncomfortable? We want to go have a good time. We want to go have fun in a galaxy far, far away, right? I'm immediately over this. I'm immediately disinterested, right? And I hope this audio is not playing over the top of me because I don't want to get dinged. But like you get my point, right? It's just, I can't be the only one. I seriously hope I'm not the only one. It just boggles my mind. It's about time for a female-led Star Wars film. Yeah, they just quote that individual again. But look, I tuned out completely. The sequel Star Wars I liked. Was it not A New Hope? What's it called? Force Awakens. I really enjoyed that. Right. I thought that was a good, safe re-entry point and jumping on point for everybody for a franchise that's gone away for particularly quite a long time. And to go, all right, let's just keep it safe. Let's retread some common ground here. But they missed a lot of opportunities, right, to get those fan favorite characters on screen all together, right? And you can hand the baton the right way, but they shat the bed at every turn. And it's just, I don't need to go over it. If you've seen the movies, you know what I'm saying. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know what I'm saying. And it's such, those movies killed any excitement. And the following Disney Plus series, I mean, Mandalorian season 1 was good. Season 2 was okay. I enjoyed the Luke Skywalker stuff. That was pretty cool. I haven't bothered for season 3 because apparently it's not Mandalorian anymore. It's Girl Boss series 3 pretty much, and every other Disney Plus series has just been Girl Boss material that just doesn't appeal to me, right? And I'm just not interested, right? So this has traditionally been a male franchise, right? Targeted towards male boys or adult males. I know Star Wars women do exist. I know that. And I know there are female fans out there, right? But they don't have any issue with joining in the fandom. They have no issue with enjoying the movies as they are, right? And it's just, why change it? Why destroy a multi-billion dollar IP just to force a narrative down people's throat that nobody wants, right? Kathleen Kennedy is legitimately the worst entertainment executive of my lifetime, says Ben Shapiro. Think of what you like of that guy, but he does make some hot takes that are interesting. But you can't really deny that what he's saying is not entirely false, right? Because she's been the Lucasfilm exec behind every and Disney, like Lucasfilm and Disney. She's been at every major flop behind Star Wars and Indiana Jones and whatever else she's had her hands on in recent memory. The Force is female was her thing with the new Star Wars film coming out back when it was re-released, with Rey being the main protagonist. That was a Mary Sue that could do everything, right? Without even trying. She didn't even need to. She lived on a desert planet with no space flight training, no Jedi training, no anything, right? But just every time something happened, she was an immediate adept at it, right? And that's that was boring, right? It's like, okay, oh, you can do that now. Okay, great. Okay, there's been Jedi that haven't been able to do any of that stuff, or pilots that haven't been able to do any of that stuff until they're well into their tenure, and you're just doing it 5 minutes later. Cool. All right. No worries. Anyway, there's more comments here that go into, there's been other female involvement in Star Wars. There's writers, there's other directors that made some of the Disney Plus stories, Disney Plus shows. Comic books have been written by, and novels have been written by females and women. I mean, it's just such a disingenuous comment for this person to make. It's obeyed Shinoi, right? I can't wait to see this fail. Not because I like to see things fail, but I just hope that it sends another message of like, okay, you're trying to start a new franchise here, reignite the love for a long fan love franchise in Star Wars, and what you're going to do is do the same shit you did for the sequel trilogy straight off the bat. You know, it's like it's just ridiculous. I just when will the people with the actual money that fund all this kind of stuff go, all right, enough's enough. We're going to pull everything and put it into another studio if you don't go back to making good movies again, right, and making the messaging about the movie, right, and getting people hyped about the movie and the story and the world, right, not the political aspect of it all. Nobody's interested anymore. Nobody. The box office for every major release that's come out like that has bombed, right, critically, or with the fans or financially. So it just begs you to wonder, when does that stop? All right. I'm not saying I've got the answers here, but I'm just giving my criticism. I don't watch every movie that comes out, but I tune in, right? I've kept my finger on the pulse on some of this stuff, and I just have to roll my eyes, right? And I've seen some of these films that come out that bomb, all right? Not all of them, but I've seen some of them. And I've watched a lot of the Disney Plus stuff, and I've gone just, okay, like Willow, holy crap, man. Captain America Winter Soldier. I enjoyed that until it got to the messaging, all right? Anyway, I don't want to go into a massive diatribe about Disney Plus. This is about Star Wars and how how already disinterested I am. Right? I was like, cool, a new trilogy has been announced. All right, awesome. What's it about? What have they announced? And I immediately went, really? Really? Anyway, I hope someone out there is interested and excited. Cool. Anyway, that's that topic. So the last one, it's going to be an easy topic, right? Let's just wind down with a bit of a fluffy topic to round this out. And it's about Nintendo. Yes. Gaming, yes. And we're back. Excellent. So let's get on to it. So the Switch, everybody's, almost everybody's favorite console of recent times, right? So Switch 2 predicted to arrive in 2024 with a price point of $400. And this is American because it's written by an American. Kat Bailey, I assume they're American. Don't be offended or cancel me because I assumed you were from America and not Canada or something or whatever. So this was updated as of January 4th of this year. So it's quite current. So, all right, I've let everybody know where their source is from. Let's go. So Nintendo Switch 2 seems likely to release for $400. That's quite high, right? If you equate that to Aussie dollary dues, that's probably going to be close to $1,000, right? $800, $900 on a good day. That's quite high. So I'm already going, yikes. What's this going to be capable of, right? When you look at the Lenovo Go or the Steam Deck Pro or whatever it's called, the new one. When you look at those machines, you go, okay, they're about $1,000 or over $1,000 plus, right? $1,500 for Lenovo Go here for the base model. And I've been eyeing that off actually. I'm like, well, I know I can't justify that, but I want it. So I'm going to keep that tab open, wishing, for this luxury item. So, I mean, Nintendo, yes, they have some of the best IP in the business, so they could probably command that for the diehards, right? But there's a quote here. The time is finally here for a Switch successor. Even though I can say a Pro model actually did exist and certain developers were already working with the dev kit, Toto wrote, I believe the next hardware will drop next year for $400. American. There is a high chance that games will cost more to, $70. Jesus. That's $70 American. So we're looking easily at like $120 here in Australia. Awesome. Can't wait. The next system is also likely to be an iteration rather than a revolution. I'm happy to hear about that. I know a lot of people are saying, I don't want just a Nintendo Switch 2. I want, something weird and wacky like Nintendo always do. But I think we're past that, right? I think everybody can kind of agree that we're kind of past that, right? Those gimmicks, the era of gimmicks, I think we're done with that, right? Are we? I know I am. And I think most people are. Like when you look at kids are playing with tablets and phones, mobile phones, right? So it would behoove Nintendo to try and capture that audience with something completely different, right? When they could just do cash money very easily and go, all right, you love the Switch, right? It's one of the highest selling consoles of all time. What we're going to do is, and I hope this is what happens, what we're going to do is we're going to make it backwards compatible digitally and physically with the original Switch, but it's going to be 2 or 3 times more powerful or whatever it is, right? And it's going to have better games on it. All your new games are going to be there. You've got an instant massive library. So you can pick up our new console that's much more powerful and efficient and whatever you want to call it. And you don't miss a beat, right? All your games will come with you, right? Cut fucking ching, right? God damn it. To me, that is just so logical, right? And I know I'm not the only one out there that thinks that way, right? And I know there's people out there that just think that's boring, and I don't care to hear your opinion. I'm kidding. I just don't agree with that opinion, right? I think Nintendo, I think they need to just chill for a bit, right? All those people that used to work at Nintendo, some of them are still there, right? But those who are really pushing for every generation needs to be something new. Everything needs to be a revolution, as they say. I think we're done with that, right? There's only so much you can do, right? The Switch being the absolute success that it has been, being able to bring that hybrid model to everybody's living rooms, everybody's life, right? In such a compact fashion, with the litany of games that Nintendo has at their disposal, to alienate their install base, much like they did with the Wii U and much like they did with the Wii, even though that was a wildly successful console, but for the wrong reasons, right? The hardcore weren't there. The hardcore weren't there for it. And we got a bloat of shovelware and shelfware that, people were trying to cash in, right? On just easy party games, right? Where the rest of us kind of checked out at that point. Meanwhile, our grannies and grandpas are still playing Nintendo Wii sports bowling and tennis. So anyway, ranting aside, but look, I mean, if I could get a Nintendo console powerful enough to run a Pokemon Scarlet Violet type game that doesn't just crap itself trying to run, right? I know there's a lot more to be said there, that this could be the engine of the game, the developer not optimizing for the console well, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'm aware of that. Yes, I'm aware there's games on the Switch that can truly show and display what the Switch is capable of. But I think we've gotten to the point, well past the point, that there's some developers out there that have got everything they can out of that machine, right? And I think the next Pokemon game cannot have the same suffrage that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did. I still love that game. I still have that in one of my all-time best experiences in my life, gaming. My wife and I played that together. It was our first game we played together after we got married, and we were on honeymoon. We played that game together, and I've got the steelbook and all that kind of stuff. It's got a special place to me. But my God, did that game run like dog shit, right? For a massive game like Pokemon to have that and have the news articles coming out saying people are returning it, right? Because this is running like crap and it's not optimized, and not every developer is capable of optimizing, right? But if they have a machine that can do a lot of the overhead for them, right, and make the game perform, that's also valuable, right? Anyway, I just went on a massive tangent there, but look, I think, and you probably read some of this article while I was on my diatribe, but I think if the Switch 2 comes out this year, it's well overdue, right? Well overdue. We haven't heard anything official, right? I know there's people on Twitter every day saying, my uncle's friend works at Nintendo and they say it's coming out in November 15th and it's going to be white or something like that, right? And it's going to look like a more polished Switch, or if you look at the Lenovo Go or Steam Deck, it'll have a similar kind of form factor and a bigger screen. Someone's going to say that kind of crap on Twitter and people are going to eat it up because they just want to know. Like they're thirsty and hungry for the next Switch, right? I love the Switch, right? I think it's one of the best consoles ever, right? Probably not for the hardware, but just because of what it is, right? What it is, what it did for gaming, and it had some really amazing games come out of that machine, right? It's Nintendo consoles are pretty much essentially now, just for me, my Mario simulator, right? Pretty much every game I've got is a Mario game on the Switch, right? If not, it's my retro machine, or I buy some of the 8 or 16-bit or 32-bit games, the newer ones that are coming out, like Touchdown or Panzer Paladin, that kind of stuff. The new Double Dragon or the new Sonic games, like the 2D ones, Sonic Mania and Origins Plus, those kind of games where it feels right. So it's just weird. Shovel Knight, like those kind of games, it just feels right playing it on the Switch. I can't explain it. Whereas when I go play it on my Xbox Series X, it's cool. Like the colors are better. Undoubtedly, the colors are better, and it's 4K, right? And the sound's better. Everything literally is better about playing it on the Xbox Series X or any Xbox console for that matter. But there's just something about the Switch that just feels right to play those kind of games, right? It's just weird. I can't explain it. But look, will I be there day one for a Switch 2? Probably not. It just depends. Depends what the launch lineup is like, right? I'm always there day one for Xbox. Everybody, I'm wearing the hat. I'd be contradictory if I said anything else. But Switch, I'm a fan of it. I love Nintendo. If I had to put my scale on for 1 to 3 for the big three, it'd be Xbox, Nintendo, then PlayStation at number 3 as my console preference. Anyway, I really enjoyed the 3DS, as it mentions here in this article. It sounds like this will be closer to the Nintendo 3DS situation, which is built on the success of the 3DS, and that's the smart play, right? I jumped in at the 3DS, right? And then I traded that in and got a new 3DS XL, right? So people like myself already have that experience, right? And even new kids, they don't have that. They probably weren't born then, but new kids, when they're like, Switch 2, I kind of grew up with my brother's hand-me-down Switch or whatever when he moved on to the PlayStation or Xbox, so they'll see this new Switch 2 come out and go, oh my God, that's my thing, right? So there's a lot of reasons why they should just follow under the success, right? Now, what does that mean for the highest console sold story, right? If Nintendo releases another iteration of the Switch, right, and that sells another 10, 20 million units, does that then mean the Nintendo Switch, right? I'm holding my camera lens cap. Does that mean, for the visual listeners here, watchers, whatever you call it, does that mean that the Nintendo Switch itself is still ongoing, or is this going to be called something new, right? So if it's Nintendo, I don't know, Swap, I don't know, something's not Switch, just for painting a picture here. If it's Nintendo Swap, right, so that console count goes back down to 0, right? And goes 1 to a million to 10 million. Can it get to 100 million again? Or do they just go, all right, new Nintendo Switch, right? Or Nintendo Switch Pro. And it goes, bang, another 50 million units. Cool. Nintendo Switch can now claim the title of the most selling console of all time, right? And just that whole perception out there that Nintendo will have is valuable, right? So anyway, that's going into the I'm getting into some insight there, and that's a whole other topic, but it's very interesting, right? I'm very interested to see where this goes, because there's a lot that can happen this year. And last year, 2023, was really amazing for video games. There were so many great games that came out, most of which I haven't had much time to play, but I'm working through what I can. So, yes, I'm still going to be interested in video games. Video games is, if I could quit work tomorrow, that's all I'd be doing is making comic books, my own comic books, and playing games, right? And gaming is the best art form out there. I love film, but video games, there's something, you all know that. If you play video games, you understand. I don't need to explain how special video games are. There's something else. And I just can't wait to see the successes of the new year. And, if you want, okay, one last question. If you want to ask me what would I like to see in 2024? Okay, I'd like to see the death of live service games. I would like to see the death of battle royale games. I would like to see the death of always online games, right? None of them, there's only a handful left that are still relevant, and the ones that are still holding on, making their money, they're on their way out too, right? And every new one that comes out dies. So again, it's like the Star Wars franchise. When will you get the message, right? I know that the gaming industry is usually behind the times, right? Because by the time you make a game, you're 3 years too late, right? 3 to 5 years too late, depending on your development time, right? So if you've spent 3 years, because at the moment zeitgeist was, hey, this is the kind of game everybody likes, let's make one of those. But a lot can change in 3 years, right? Everyone doesn't like that type of game anymore, and you've got this game that nobody wants, right? It's too much of a risk, particularly when you see so many come and die between that time frame. So I hope we go back to more like Nintendo does. I love what Nintendo does, right? They make their games. It's the game. Everything you need for the game, essentially almost, comes with the game, right? It's its own experience. It's just like how games have always been. Well, way back when, you get the game, that's the game. You don't need any of this other crap, right? You have the experience that the game is. And I'd love to see what PlayStation and Xbox could do, returning to that mind frame of not having everything needing to be multiplayer focused or online focused. Let's give us more quality, high quality single player experiences. Even some of the AA stuff, right? The middle of the ground type games, like, I don't know. What's that? Popcorn chainsaw? No, what's it called? Chainsaw cheerleader. I can't remember what it's called, but that kind of era where there's a lot of these middle of the way of AA kind of still janky but really enjoyable. Shadow of the Damned was another one. I don't know, like Hulk Ultimate Destruction, or those kind of games where I would love to see more of those, right? The original Xbox PS2 generation and 360 and PS3 generation had a lot of those action platformer games or action adventure games where you could just go start to finish. Oh, like Darksiders, Darksiders 1 and 2 in particular, right? Oh man, I love that. Oh, I'd love more of that, right? That stuff that you can keep and put in your shelf or in your digital library. That's a whole other discussion. Maybe we'll get into next week. But that stuff that you can just go, yeah, you know what? And you could just remember that game and the good times you had with it. Just going through a good story and an adventure with a world that was built for you to experience, and not having to worry about, I don't know, just having to worry about online crap. I'm over it. So I hope Nintendo keep doing what they're doing, right? I don't want them to go down this online space. Like, I think they're aware. Nintendo seem to be, unbeknownst to everyone else, they seem to be just aware, right? Ahead of the curve on some stuff before we even realize it, right? Very smart. Anyway, cool. I'm losing my voice here because it's quite hot in this room, and I've been talking almost nonstop for an hour. So let's wrap this up, right? And let's get on to the evening. It's Friday night. Yeah, boy. Cool. Excellent. Thank you very much, everybody, for sticking it out for my first Chuntcast for the year, 2024. I really had a good time. With this one. It was good just to talk about some stuff. Yes, it sounds funny when I'm just talking to myself in a room, but I always try and do this as if I'm talking directly to you or with you, right? So please leave your comments down below, right? And we'll keep the conversation going. I look forward to doing this again next week. As we wrap this up, I wish you thanks for your time and including me in your day. I'm going to make sure I say that at the end of every Chuntcast because it's good and it's important that I give thanks, right? Everybody should give thanks, particularly for people's time, right? Don't take it for granted, right? And just be respectful and give thanks when someone gives you their time. It's just a little thing. I know it sounds a bit funny, but it's just a little thing. It can go a long way. Feel free to follow my socials at Uncle Chunt on major platforms or find me at unclechunt.com to keep abreast of my upcoming projects and updates. Expect to see some updates on my website this year of some pretty cool stuff I'm looking forward to do. And I'll upload what my plans are for my 2023 card collection on my website. And I'll post that to my socials when I'm ready to do that. In the meantime, everybody, it's Friday. And at the time of this recording anyway, chill out, enjoy your weekend, relax, get into next week. And in the meantime, till all are one, and may the power protect you, Skal.